All right, guys, welcome back. So today I traded five stocks, starting with TCBP. It ran a few days ago, and then it had some red days, and today it had a big green day again. So I saw it on my scanner, and I noticed this nice trend line here, and it was really close to the trend line when I was looking at it, and I noticed that the initial high right here and a recent low was kind of forming a bit of a support line here. So I like to have some sort of support nearby below my trend line in case it does break, because trend lines break very often. So I bought in here, and I got this huge spike very shortly after, which I wasn't expecting. And so as soon as it started wicking down, I just sold into it, sold half into it, and then I was waiting for another spike here. It came down, it broke my risk, and I just sold here. Now, seeing this crazy momentum here and seeing what happened in the morning here, I figured this being midday, there was a chance for another big explosion at some point. So when it started ramping up, I bought back in again, cracked my risk, I sold again. Looking back, seeing how it cracked my risk up to down here, probably should have adjusted my risk to down here if I wanted to continue playing. So this was a little silly here, selling, even though that risk had already broken. It should probably be up down there. Anyway, uh, the spike eventually came, and I was not a part of it, but I still got a good little profit off of this here. So the next stock I traded is TMC. So I've traded this one several times in the last few days, or two times in the last two times. And anyway, it's got this nice big run that's happening here because of nickel and the Russian Ukraine situation. So nickel has been going crazy, and so this metal company has been going crazy as a result. Anyway, so I've been watching it. This wasn't on my scanner. I just pulled this up physically, and I've noticed that it tends to do a lot of double bottoms. And so I was searching here for my specific setup when the double bottom happens, which on stocks like this, you need two identical bottoms forming a bit of a W. Now this here was a really loose W, really like stretched out, as you can tell. It doesn't really count. It's not really what I am trying to look for. And this is just like an experiment that I've been running anyway. But anyway, so I bought in just to test it out, and it did get back up to the level. So technically, it was a completed W, but it was super weird shaped, so it doesn't really count for me. And when it did break the low, which was the low of the W, I sold for a bit of a loss there. And the next one was MULN. So MULN has been running like crazy, and I've traded it a few times. So today it had an even bigger surge than recent history. So for MULN, I was watching it all day, and I noticed it was having this nice solid uptrend that I wanted to be a part of. And I kept missing opportunities. So when it was up here, I told myself the next time it comes down to the trend line, if it doesn't break it and it holds, I'm going to buy in and risk just a few percent below the trend line. And it, sure enough, it held, it rebounded. It wasn't nearly what I was looking for, so I didn't sell, and then it cracked and I sold just like a 1 or 2% below, like I thought I would. So it's unfortunate, but these things don't always work out, of course. When MULN did sell, uh, a lot of that money moved to PIK, which is another stock I traded today. We're going to get to that in a second. But here's the daily chart for MIB, which I traded today. It had a big first green day kind of, or just like gapper up on news. And this was just a bizarro little trade I did for no real, it was just kind of speculative. But the initial high, or the morning high, was held later in the day after this spike. You see it held it there and it held it there. And so I bought in here, risking that. And I sold because it cracked it. And it didn't really go anywhere anyway, so that's fine, and I got out. Now the best, most exciting trade I saved for last, here is PIK, down on its luck right lately, and then a huge spike up on news that something Disney Plus related, they're making something for Disney Plus essentially, And so this stock here ramped up huge pre-market, and then it had a nice huge like 24-25% spike right in the morning. I missed all of this, so it's irrelevant to me, but it's interesting that it failed. And I saw this downtrend consistently. It's kind of like a nice solid downtrend all the way down to here, and then it reversed slowly, 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 and it had a huge spike. Around here, I was thinking about buying in, but I didn't really have the confidence, so I didn't get in. And a huge spike happened, bigger than I would have thought. And it came right up to the morning highs, essentially, as you can see there. And what's interesting is the low right here lines up very well with this little mountain. So I liked that too. It had a little reason for support there. That's essentially the only, if you go right to the top here, that goes to the low of the morning high. So anyway, this line here seemed to have a reasonable basis of support. So I bought in, well, I was looking at that and I was thinking about getting in, and I couldn't really decide. And then I saw this wick down and pull up. It went down and it pulled up, which was kind of bullish. And then in the next candle, it shot up very quickly. And I watched this, and there was a lot of momentum. And it reminded me of past experience with runners. They have a lot of speed and length to their candles. And I just liked it. And it was a bit of a chase. It was a bit of a gamble, but I bought in, risking this low right here. And sure enough, it took off. I sold half here. After 2 wicks in a row, I sold because I wasn't sure if this was the top or not. And then another huge spike happened, and it started to wick down, and I sold the other half there because I was just very content with the result there. I got a 24% gain, and this is what happened the rest of the day. But yeah, so those are the stocks today. Most of them aren't in the wheelhouse that I've been working on, but I just, everything is a bit of experience, and it was fun and informative nonetheless. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. If you like this, like and subscribe and all that jazz. Thank you.